Don't leave me here with America's original pilgrim and her fucking Puritan partners.
10 years ago, two very successful divorce lawyers, Liberty and Allura, decided they were done being the token women at a boys' club law firm. The only female partner, Dina, saw it coming and basically said, "Okay, go, but you can't take any clients." So they walked out with just one ally, their investigator, Emerald. However, they left behind a lawyer named Carrington, who begged to join them. That rejection turned Carrington into their enemy, and she vowed to make them pay for leaving her behind. She later started her own firm, and has clearly not forgiven Liberty and Allura for cutting her out. 10 years later, Liberty and Allura are that firm, top tier, rich, and unbothered. Allura has taken a paralegal, Milan, under her wing, and she's living her best luxury wife life with her younger husband, Chase. He does seem to have wandering eyes, though. Anyway, their next big case involves Grace Henry, who's married to Lionel Lee, a massive name in the tech world. Grace came to Hollywood for her dreams, but ended up a bored trophy wife with an airtight prenup. If she left, she'd have only the clothes on her back, nothing else to her name. The team is immediately suspicious because Grace is asking for a surprisingly low settlement. Upon talking to her, the real reason explodes out. Lionel had introduced a third party into their relationship as part of his sexual fantasies. But then, Grace and the third wheel, Emma, fell in love, and now she wants out. Grace feels guilty, like she doesn't deserve a big payout. But Allura and Liberty remind her, "Girl, you're getting everything you deserve." And his karma just caught up to him. You deserve an extra 0 for every tear. Emerald's investigation initially yields nothing, but she believes when there's nothing at all, it simply means someone is working extremely hard to clean up any mess. She discovers Lionel visits a dominatrix, which honestly was absolutely predictable to the ladies. The dominatrix is hesitant to talk, fearing she'll lose a valuable client, but the girls remind her that their client is about to get $200 million, and that she'd be getting 5%. $10 million. Sounds cool to the dominatrix. By the time the settlement hearing rolls around, Lionel's lawyer is puffing his chest, making empty threats. That's when Allura pulls out the big guns, pictures from the dominatrix's sessions. For size comparison, a stimulator from Lionel's collection was placed side by side with a traffic cone, and it matched. That's just the tip of the iceberg of Mr. Lionel's weird fantasies. They take on another situation involving Sheila, who has locked herself in her house because her husband, Theodore Baskin, owner of a large cosmetics brand, is trying to beat her up for cheating. Or maybe, in her words, just a small flirtation. Liberty jets off to the house to solve the problem. Although Theodore made sure Sheila's prenup left her with nothing, not even her crocodile Birkin bag or her luxury cars, Liberty finds a loophole. Theodore had given his wife expensive jewelry as multiple apology gifts over the years, and Liberty states that since gifts received during marriage count as personal property under California law, Sheila can leave with the jewelry. The ladies end the day feeling unstoppable, until Allura gets home and her husband, Chase, reveals he wants a divorce. Initially, he claims he's tired of feeling the need to be perfect for her, and that he feels ridiculously small next to her. He also hints that he's seeing someone else. This storyline low-key feels like the Kardashians' marriage history. But anyway, the supposed side chick is Allura's paralegal, Milan. But Allura is still in the dark. Her friends rally around her, reminding her that for someone so smart, her taste in men is terrible. Emerald is looking into Chase's roster of women, and boy, he's been chasing everything in a skirt since forever. Allura is hesitant, but still needs a good lawyer to represent her, so she calls her archenemy, Carrington. Unfortunately, Carrington is already representing Chase, and tells Allura to bring her big guns, because this is war. And it's personal. So, Allura hires their old mentor and former law firm partner, Dina. They all meet at Sheila's jewelry auction, where Carrington fights Dina over a vintage brooch, which she later gets for $500,000. Carrington tells her she hopes to beat her in court soon, which was like a wish granted, because Allura is her client. The next case they handle is that of Deandra, a chemist who invented Durlite, a polymer stronger than steel but lighter. Her husband used her lab results to build businesses. Arthur didn't know anything about chemistry, but he knew everything about business. After their divorce, the company he generously gave her was drowning in payroll taxes, penalties, and companies he'd embezzled from. What's worse, He enlisted her as the key officer, and this had been happening for decades. Liberty thought of pursuing innocent spouse relief and filing a civil suit to transfer liability back, but Deandra would still be complicit. She asked for a break, to go vape, but instead, she jumped off the building. Legally, there was no way to get restitution for Dee's workers, but revenge? That's something they could achieve. They boxed Arthur into a corner and made sure he rehired every worker he had let go. Then all her shares were given to Dee's sister and her nephew. Liberty gets a romantic nudge when her nice guy, Dr. Reggie, proposes. But Liberty isn't sure, because her job is messy, her love life is messy, and she's not convinced she wants a safe option when she's built a win-every-time brand. Plus, she's skeptical about the whole marriage thing, because of the number of divorce cases she's handled this past year. Meanwhile, Milan's romance with Chase leaks into the office gossip circuit, and the girls are firing Allura up for revenge. It was so nice to see Kim smash that little car of Milan's. I wish it was true. But it was all in her imagination. She didn't pull it off. She approached it more demurely. Milan said it started the previous month at 5:45 p.m. She admitted she wanted to be Allura so badly that she probably wanted to be under her man. And get this, she's pregnant for Chase. Personally, I'd say they deserve each other. Milan wants to be as influential as Allura so badly, and Chase is intimidated by Allura's success just as badly too. In episode 3, it seemed like a Kim Kardashian advert, at first because Allura tries to cope with the divorce drama by focusing on self-care and cosmetic treatments. But Chase continues to be the ultimate problem. Their next case involves Leanne, who's been married to her rock star husband Tommy for 3 years. Things were good at first, until he started nitpicking her looks. He kept convincing her to get work done, and because she feared losing him to a younger girl, she eventually gave in. He and his doctor convinced her to just get a few things done, but one surgery turned into another, and another, until she barely recognized herself, yet she still wasn't able to keep him. Tommy was quick to offer a $30 million settlement, but Allura and her team aren't settling for crumbs. They know he has offshore accounts and hidden assets, and they're willing to fight for everything. They're asking for $100 million, 2/3 of his net worth, arguing cruelty and coercion into getting augmentations she didn't consent to. They even got the doctor's cooperation and took the story to the press. However, the victory isn't enough for Leanne. She stalks Tommy with his new girl and pours acid in his face. Back in Allura's life, Emerald discovers yet another layer to Chase's infidelity. He was sleeping with a former transgender sex worker. Allura becomes so scared about her health, wondering if she's contracted an STI. In solidarity, she even convinces Milan to get tested too. Thankfully, both women are clean. Despite the mountain of infidelity evidence, Allura's win isn't guaranteed because Carrington is playing dirty. Carrington demands a ridiculous settlement, $1 million in monthly spousal support, the private jet, one of their houses, and half of the law firm. Just when I thought the demands couldn't get any more absurd, Carrington asks for all these, in exchange for one thing Allura wants more than anything: frozen embryos. Since Allura has fertility issues and desperately wants a baby, and these embryos require both signatures for implantation, Chase refuses to sign the divorce papers unless Allura agrees to his terms. Tired of being defeated, Allura becomes determined to fight back. She decides to align with the women her husband has hurt and attempts to recruit the transgender sex worker and the abandoned Milan to gang up on Chase. However, the transgender sex worker refuses and instead snitches to Chase. She promises to publicly deny any affair in the media, in exchange for a photo op with Chase after the divorce. She believes being seen with the golden boy will help the LGBTQ+ community. At first, he's skeptical, since he could lose lucrative brand deals, but he has no choice but to accept. Frustrated, Allura decides she's done playing nice and letting Chase control her future. She drives to the hospital where the embryos are stored, forges Chase's signature, and has the embryos implanted immediately. She's always wanted 2 children, so she implants 2 embryos. Now, Chase has nothing left to bargain with. We finally get a glimpse into the powerhouse investigator who definitely inspired the idea, Emerald, a dedicated single mother to triplets conceived through IVF. And one of them just got into MIT, and they are really thriving. What do you think about the storyline? Do you look forward to the continuation? Let me know in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.